Hilly,
Hi mate,
my man.
what's doing?
Just with you, mate. One of your beautiful properties in Wombrel. So I suppose let's intro and tell the crowd a little bit about yourself, mate. Like who you are, I suppose where you've come from, and why you think we're sitting here today.
Well, my name's Justin Hill. I've got a building company called JSH Projects. Obviously a building background, originally from Sydney like a long time ago. Just not too long ago, maybe 3 or 4 years ago, started to pump the building business as much as I could, and always done development, and now the development side's starting to get a whole lot more, and that's where we're at now.
Yeah. Where'd you grow up?
I grew up in Umina, mate.
That's a nice place.
You should know.
The 2257. Yeah, have you got any?
We're those 2256, but I hung around in Umina. I was in the Bronx.
You're in the Bronx.
I was in the back end.
I wasn't far off. I was on the border of the Bronx, and your mine is just as bad as well, mate.
But originally from Sydney, in Erskineville, but come up here U1 or something. So
yeah.
Born and bred from there, mate.
Yeah. So I'm gonna give my intro of you now. I've given you the chance to give Justin's intro. It's now Ryan giving Justin's intro. I'm gonna set this thing up because Justin is his good friend, good client. Haven't known him for ages. I've only known him for probably the best part of not even 12 months. But in that time, I've got to know Justin, and I will definitely vouch for Justin and his business, and the people that know Justin will back me up on this. You're doing some incredible things in the building game, like massive things. You know, I think you're doing monstrumental things.
Talking me up.
I am, mate, but it's truthful. I don't think it's just you're a great builder. I don't think you're just a great businessman. I don't think you're just accumulating wealth and helping people to accumulate lots of wealth because you're just a great builder. I think that there's a bigger story to this, and that's what I'm hoping to tap into today. I think you have a personal story which has got you to where you've got for a reason, because not everyone can do that.
Yep.
I have a lot of clients that are builders. I've got a lot of clients that are business owners, and some become very, very successful. Some continue to sort of stretch the norm of success, and some don't. Now, you're one of those rare examples on the Central Coast of someone who has been successful in sport, has been successful in business, is very successful in my eyes right now, in the eyes of a lot of other people that I know are noticing what you're doing because they're making commentary, how you're killing it, right? So let's go back to where it all started, in the ghetto, right? In the 2257, where we both grew up, okay, when we didn't even know each other, until, like I said, not all that long ago. Talk to me about how you grew up and you as a younger guy.
Growing up it was all the boys, all the mates that we're all still best mates with now. They all know who they are. It's all good boys from Umina. It was all evolved around footy really, so we're all footy heads, so that's where the bond sort of started, and we used to run amok as you do back then down there. And then footy was always the life of everything. And then all of a sudden you know, sometimes things don't pan out the way you want them to pan out. All kinds of things, you get injuries, you maybe go out and sort of take advantage of it and start going out a bit more, or whatever you do, but it just didn't end up the way it is, and then you sort of think to yourself, well, you want to do something. So I went overseas for a while, went over there to play footy, and ended up working over there and a few mates over in England for nearly 2 years, which that was mad. Worked for a decent company over there, and then got offered a good role to go back, and then came back to go back, but that didn't work out. So the wife really was keen to stay here, so we stayed here and started a family, and we've been in McMaster's Beach now. We've had a couple of homes in there, and we've finally found it's taken a while, but we've built a fair few homes and sold them, and we've finally found our dream acres over there, and we've just been there for just over 2 years. So been there about 10 years now, so that's where it started from back then, and but still hanging around with all the same people, and And that's the same thing, meeting you lately has been brilliant, and click, and that's what I like. So that's where it's at the moment.
Lovely. Talk to me about your adolescent years of footy. Like, because you played pretty decent grade football.
A lot of me and my mates did. We probably, I don't know, if we probably put our heads down, arse up a bit more, we probably would have made it. But we played with some great footy players, mate. Like I said, most of all my mates were all on the same level, and one of my really, really good mates, probably the best footy player I ever played with, as you know, Romeo. He passed away about a year or so ago. Just come back from up there seeing his wife. He's probably the best player I've ever played with, mate. So, but all of them were good players. We all enjoyed the game, and then eventually it sort of just becomes a bit of a distant memory, mate. But played the last year, come back here after playing in Sydney with a few boys, and then the end of come back here, played a bit on the coast, went overseas, played over there a little bit, and then pulled the pin and just worked over there. But that was it. Tried to come back and play again, mate, but the missus won't let me. I'd probably put the boots on now if she was going to let me, but it's done and dusted.
Yeah,
I just watch it now.
I didn't play footy, mate, for 20 years. Tried to put the boots back on and got absolutely creamed. But
now throwing gloves at each other last night.
And then that's a whole other. That's something I'll tap into in a second. So like, okay, I want you to get raw and honest with me, all right? I think you have something, like I said, that most people don't have, and I want you to be humble, but I want you to be honest at the same time, right? You have ticker.
Yeah.
You got this ticker, you got this, even Andrew, the video guy, said this, he's one of those guys you meet and you just say, don't fuck with him, right? You got some ticker. You had ticker in football, I know you got ticker in business, I know you got ticker with your family. I've seen the way that you've been there for your best friend's family, right? Where's this come from? Where's this, this mental aptitude, this tenacity, this, there's a level of passion in there as well, where does it come from?
I don't know. Mate, I've always been passionate, and when you ask a couple of mates, sometimes it might be, I don't know, there's so much thing is too much passion, but if I do something, I'll always have passion in it if I love it. Mate, the family I'm from, it's a good family. It's a knock-around family. It's a good family, but there's no bullshit in it. And you just have drive when you see things growing up. I guess it just gives you a bit more drive. If you don't have what you sort of want to chase. I don't know, mate. It's just something. I just believe if you say something, you do it. With me, it's more of a satisfaction thing in my head where I get over things quite easily, which is I can't help it. But I've finished something and I want to be on to the next thing. I enjoy it. I've got to keep moving. And when it comes to the mates thing, well, that's just I think everyone knows. I've said it 50 times. That's just what you do. So it's just a passion thing, mate. I like doing things. I don't like sitting around. Do anything for the family, do anything for mates, and that's just pretty much it, mate. It's just a bit of drive there that will always be there, and if I don't do it, I'm not satisfied, and you're not doing the things you want to do. So,
have you ever sat still?
No, not really.
Ever?
No, I even noticed last night that we were in the background when I was trying to listen to Jake talk. Lauren calls me a shark because they apparently don't stop moving underwater when they're sleeping. So it's when I'm asleep, mate, I'm not moving, I'm dead. But once I get up, that's it. Yeah, I sleep well, but thank God. But once I'm up, I won't stop.
Do you think there's a level of euphoria in you moving all the time? Whether it's you boxing with me, which we'll talk about in a bit, whether it was playing football back when you were younger, whether it's coaching your kids' teams, whether it's business and you always helping people to build their dream homes. Do you think you just love moving and you love just...
100%, yeah. I just get too bored, man. I can't sit around, I get bored, and I'm always trying to chase something. Like I said, the satisfaction thing will always come back. It's just always trying to chase. I want to do something better. I want to do something, then I'll get over it. I want to do something better the next time, and then I just like pushing the limits. I put myself in some pretty shitty situations, and I put myself in some pretty uncomfortable positions, but I don't really say anything about it. But it's what you do, and then you get past it and you think, it's sweet, But at the end of the day, you see what can happen, when you talk, you can always push through things. So the way I say, I think there's always a solution to something. I probably used to never look at it as much a few years ago. But then when you see things that happen, like we sung it pretty quick one time, and then obviously you lose your best mate, and then you think, well, things are pretty small. So for me, it's now I look at things a whole lot different. Whereas you're just like, well, you're there, you're healthy. Something happens, you can get out of it, and just go again. So I don't know. That changed a lot of things lately. I think it's especially in the last few years. So
it's not my place to dig into that, but what was perspective shifts that happened for you? Like what were some things that shifted your perspective on life? In terms of just, I suppose, gratefulness, in terms of appreciation, like you said, the little things not bothering you.
Yeah, I used to get shit's easy, mate. I used to get I used to get the shits pretty easy. I guess the passion thing might come down a little bit. I don't know. It's a bit of everything mixed into one. But if something happened, I would probably blow my fuse a bit, and then sort of do something. Now I don't really blow my fuse nowhere near as much, because I just think that there's always a way to get out of it, or there's always a solution. But yeah, obviously just sitting down. Like I said, what happened? You sit down with a mate, and some pretty insane conversations towards the end. So. And you probably take more life lessons out of that than what I probably will in the next 2 lifetimes, even if you tried. So there's only probably a couple of words that you could hear that's enough, and it changed the whole perspective on things. So that was a big game changer.
And I as you know, I work with Jakey from G6, and I started working with Jakey probably 2 years ago, and I found something in Jake that I haven't seen in a lot of people, and it was a guy who was very passionate, right, in a hard time, that he just had so much heart and so much action in what he did. He just needed a bit of an understanding of, like, I suppose, direction and bigger picture, right? And then I hadn't seen anyone like Jake, right? And then I met you, and I was like, fuck, I've met another Jake to a degree. Different style of Jake, different stories. But I met another guy, which is you, who was just as passionate as Jake, wore his heart on his sleeve like Jake, was willing to tell people to shut the fuck up if he had to. I saw these similarities. I also saw someone that was a little insane. Now hear me out. What I mean by insane is you weren't controlled by your mind, right? So you weren't weak. You had a level of insanity because you would break your mind, where other people, right, would usually be controlled and confined to their mind. So they would be like, oh, I've got to be comfortable, I've got to make sure I do that. You were kind of willing to go, fuck this, I'm going to lose my mind to get my heart, right? And it was an irony to it. I had only seen it with Jake, and then I saw it with you, and it was like, fuck, there's two guys that are very similar. Now, you do possess similarities, and I'm doing a podcast with Jakey, so I'm going to talk about you and his, right? And when Jake needed to do something in his business, and me and him would work on the strategy or the end game or the purpose, which we've talked about, he would go out full steam, 100 miles, get shit done. And I was just dumbfounded. I was like, how does this guy do what most people say they're going to do, never do, and then blame someone or themselves? Right? They never own it. They never own their space. Then I met you, and I was like, you already had a good business. You're already doing amazing with your building and your homes and your developments and the clients that you were working with. But all I did was, you were similar to Jake, is kind of like show you some things,
100%.
Some ideas, some strategies, some things, some concepts. And every single time you went and doubled down on it. Every single time, just like Jake did. And I was like, there's a certain breed of people, like they're rare. There's not many of them. They're probably the 2% of the 100%, but they are willing to lose their mind, be a little bit insane, get shit done, irrespective of the consequences, and they're the ones that are fucking killing it.
100%. It's I'll definitely double down on everything. I've doubled down on everything in my whole life. And maybe you'll probably do have to be a little bit insane sometimes to do it, but if you don't, I don't know. I've stepped out of the comfort zone plenty of times, made it like bad. Whether you usually will end up good, but it might be a hard struggle to get it good. But it's more about just getting out there and doing it. Like, there's times where sometimes you haven't got anyone to fall back on. You just got to go do it. That's it. You've got no. It's not like when you sit here and just. It's not going to happen on its own. One thing I've learned in life you sometimes just got to always, you can always fall back on one person. It's probably yourself. No one's going to do it for you, but sometimes there's been plenty of times you just got to go and do it yourself. Like, at these houses, I've worked on the houses till whatever time in the middle of the night. I worked in the mines on weekends and nights to finish at home from Monday to Thursday. It's sometimes you just got to get out there and do it. You just got to give it a dig. Because at the end of the day, it's just going to keep sitting there in the same fucking state it was before if you don't do something about it. So yeah, it's just about going over go, really. That's really it.
And that's what it usually is. It's you versus you.
Yeah.
Like, isn't it? Like, everything you do, it's like you're going to find a reason to write yourself off that you can't do it.
Yeah.
Which is most people.
Yeah.
Now, there's an exception, which we mentioned, which is just a fair few people. Now, everyone can change. Like, in my opinion, I was soft as shit.
Yeah.
And I own that all the time. But I kind of went through this space in my life where I went and I started to understand my mind. I started to understand myself. I started to understand being present and these different things. And now I know I'm not in my head. I don't live in my head. I'm not anxious about what you're thinking of me right now. I'm very present. I'm very controlled in myself. And I'm willing to go through hard shit with purpose, right? And passion and conviction, similar to yourself. And I think a lot of people out there think that they're not born like that. Like, they're not born from school of hard knocks and they're not tough as nails. But I think it's something you can develop.
You can definitely develop. Like with us, and there's a couple of mates and I got as well. So it's how you got brought up. So that was sort of always instilled in you from a young age. But like you're saying, of course you can. If you want to toughen up, you toughen up. If you don't, well, you don't. There's always you've always got a choice in what you want to do. So that's and one thing I've learnt, especially when you get to the tougher times now, you can sort of rely back on those times when you've already gone through it. And you're just like, well, you can do it again. You can push through it again. And we get out the other side. Because there's one thing I always say, there's more hard, well, recently, whether it gets easier or not, there's more harder times than whether it's good times, but it makes some good times really, really good.
And I think
you got to push through the shit to get the other.
100%. And I think a lot of stuff I talk about is shifting your perspective or your mentality to go, if I go through bad stuff that is changing me, that is really not comfortable, it's actually making me happier.
Yeah.
And then you start to look at uncomfortable stuff as like actually quite enjoyable. It's weird. It's like the last. So I'll move into here with my reason.
Yeah.
I've had boxing fights. You've had boxing fights. You've played football. I tried to play football. We've gone through, like, I've been in the office since 2 this morning. I know you do the same. We've been training at 5 in the morning together and 7 at night. We're both fighting this year. We're both on Jakey's card. Okay. We both had no mouth guards or headgears on last night. We're punching each other in the head, right? We have a pleasure between us of hurt and pain because it's changing our dynamic and who we are into someone that's way, way better, right? And I think most people are running scared shitless of that because they want to stay in this little bubble of like it's all pleasurable. But that shit hurts the most.
Well, when you stay in those little, for me, when you stay in those little zones that just stay the same, that's the stuff that scares me about. So I just
that's good.
It's hard to get content, like I said, if I'm somewhere and then I'm doing something and then it's done. I can't just keep that. Like it's like you got to move on to the next thing.
Yeah.
So it's more about, it's like you said before, it's like you're going against yourself.
Yeah.
So you do something, then you do it again, and you want to do it again better, or you want to pick a new goal, and you want to do something different. Like like I said, all the footy boys and they've all had a little double in boxer, little mate is doing a bit of it now, and I did it when I was younger, and then footy, I'm only small, so you're gonna be light or heavy, so it's just good to get back in and have a little muck around again. But it's more about changing a couple of habits as well. So now I'm more about, like this year, I'm trying to change a few habits, and those little small habits just make other things a lot better. And if I can focus on going to train and do that instead of, because it was getting boring just getting up in the morning, doing a bit of weights and then going to work. So it's a good little change just going and do that with Jake and yourself and that. So looking forward to it, mate, and it just keeps you fit. Like last night I was sweating me bloody ass off. So, and it was, how hot was it yesterday? So I was lucky we were just a little warm tin. So, but it was good. Enjoyed it.
I just feel bad because every time I leave that place, mate, there's like a whale's just been on the floor.
Oh man, that's what it was like when we were doing that roll thing on top of the on top of the ring. I was just rolling. It was just wet, rolling wet.
And it's addictive as well. Like I remember the call at the start of the year, and you're like, man, this year, I know we killed it last year, and I know the business has done so amazing, but this year we're doing the little habits. We're doing the boxing and the 75 hard, and I'm setting up golf, and I'm doing all these things, these little micro.
I'm playing your first round this Friday down there, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
With the new golf club, so
lovely.
We've one of the boys at McGrath, Jordan, so I'm going to have a whack down there, so we'll see how that goes.
Good on you. But you got to set yourself up this year, right?
Well, if I don't buy them, I've been saying I'm going to buy them golf clubs for 2 years. If you don't have them, you can't play, can you? So
yeah,
you buy them, they're there, you play. A couple of little things different this year, which is good. But sometimes you feel like you might have only been ticking at 50%. I think there's probably another 50% there that can be done. So I'm looking forward to the next couple of years.
And just about a minute ago, we talked about like adversity and loss and moving on from it and moving to the next thing and staying positive and staying focused. I know you've faced adversity with like business deals as well and things going wrong. Now you feel free to release what info you want, what info you don't want.
Yeah.
But talk to me about, even if you don't give the detail, talk to me about just moving on. Like.
Yeah, well, it's a big thing. Like I said, everyone sees, might see the gains as you have plenty of losses. And there's been one particular big one I won't go into it too much about, but and sometimes you think, oh shit, that's it. But and these things, and this particular one might have dragged on for 3 years, and you got to, and sometimes it pulls you down, and then you go trying to go do this, or you're trying to go to that development, or you're trying to go to that build, and then you sit down and you think about that again, because it's not like something that happens for 3 days. It actually happened for, it's pretty much nearly finished now. So it's 3 or 4 years. So it's always a pull down. So that's why I feel like the next 50% might be there, because it's released now. So it drags you down. It's not easy. But at the end of the day, mate, you're still kicking, you're still breathing. So you just keep pushing, and it probably pushes you a little bit harder to get past it, because you're going to probably do a little bit more extra work knowing that that's there. Because I think you can really crumble. So and now that it's, because you know better. So now as you move forward and that starts to go away, you think, well, geez, what's the possibilities now? And
I think people, back to this kind of softness, if you like, people feel that some pain's going to come or some fear's going to happen. Like they're there, so they don't usually take any action, right? But then there's some that if they do take the action and they fail really hard and they get hit really hard, they're like, this is really fucking bad. And I can't come back, and I've got to fold, and it's all over. And then it reaffirms that fear and that pain, and they never make it.
Well, if you can't push through it, you're never going to do it again. So that's the end of it. Like the way I looked at it was, well, if this particular thing's going to crumble you, well, what are you going to do after it? If you let that crumble you, and the way that I kept looking at it was, it was different. I was looking at it as like, you might sell something and get a gain from it. I was doing the difference of it. I wasn't looking at loss. I was saying, well, I'm gaining this, and it's like it's not there. And then, but the way I kept saying to myself, if that's going to wreck what you've got set for the rest of your life, that one thing, well, what's the point of trying to chase that lifetime thing you're trying to chase? If that's going to crumble, you may as well crumble.
And I think that gives you a story. Like when I lost lots of clients and I lost lots of money, and I moved, out of houses and had to sell houses and made some stupid business decisions for myself personally, I fucking hated it. I said, I'm done in business. Yeah. But then when I got my shit together quick enough and went on this self-development journey, it got to like a year later and I was like, it's the best thing that ever happened to me. I'm a completely different person. I'm helping people in a different way. I'm not the accountant. I've become a coach and an advisor doing what I love to do. Yeah. And I was like, there's blessing in the fail. Like there's massive blessing in the fail, because it changes us.
It's a big old saying. You hear it from a lot of people. You got to fail, not just a little fail. I think you got to fail pretty big to realise that either you're going to stay that way or you're going to just get over it and move forward and do bigger things. But I think you have to fall on your ass decently at least once.
Yeah,
that's something definitely, because now I know that I'll do whatever not to let that make that happen. Whereas when it hasn't happened, it's an unknown. So it's like it couldn't happen. But now
it could be way worse.
Exactly.
It could.
And it happened. You're doing it a bit younger. So Yeah, mate. Like I said, I got no regrets on it. So at the end of the day, what we set out to do was pretty big. Probably a bit too big at the time. It was bigger than what I've even done now. So there you go. So like bigger than the one that we're doing up here. We just did it at the wrong time, and that's just what happens. Move on, and it's good to let go of it, and then you release it, and you're like, wow, how good, So when something hangs on the back of your ass or your tail for a fair while, it's pretty good to get the monkey off the back.
Yeah,
So
leaves the monkeys, mate.
So it's good, and I just realised that you can get through things, and no matter what it is, and unless you have really bad uncertainties like what I was talking about before, that stuff is completely different, and that's what you should worry about, really. So, and then it makes you just want to try and be as healthy and as whatever as you can, because that's the most important thing, is your family being healthy, you being healthy, and your mates being healthy, and other than that, I really don't care about anything else.
Good, amen.
Outside of it.
And I think that's what a lot of people miss though, is they know their family's important, they know their wife's important, they know their kids important. I'm speaking to myself here as well. They know their friends are important. We still get pulled into this other part of life, which is business, professionalism, and just like hustling, right?
Yeah.
How do you manage the two? Like, how do you make sure through what you've gone through in particular that you can stay really present and focused on your family first? Because you've got a big business.
Yeah, well, I probably wasn't when it started out, and I think sometimes you can't be. If you're starting a business out, I think you got to expect the first couple of years to be a grind. If it's not, well, good luck with this, because you've obviously found something really easy and good. But realistically, you got to put in the hours. Like I said, I've had the JSH projects for a while, but we used to build for other builders like in Sydney, and then it was time to come up here when the time was right, and it's I don't know, it's probably tripled every year or something now. Started with 3, now we've got like 13 or something in 3 years, and it's like it's a good business. Like I love doing it, but you got to put the effort in, and come back to the family thing. You'd be sitting on the computer till 12 o'clock at night, drinking red wine, just still going, get up, do your thing, do it again, because you didn't have that person there to be able to do that while you're meant to be out doing your other things on site or whether during the day. And then you get to a point, and then I met you, obviously, which changed everything, and I knew what I wanted to do, but obviously I taught myself business when I come and saw you. I hadn't seen anyone else, and I remember the question you asked, had you seen anyone? I hadn't seen anyone, so it was just all self-taught stuff, and then you say to me, what do you need? And I tell you, and then you start to put these things in place, and then obviously, before you know it, we've got a project manager, we've got admin coming on, we've got more supervisors, we bought a new office, a new warehouse, which is unreal, the best thing I've ever done, and this is all in 6 months. So, but the first part, I don't think, unless someone gives you the money to start off at the start, you can go out and do it. But at the start, you gotta grind. So now that's in place, I went and picked my daughter up from daycare this afternoon, second day at school. I hardly ever did that with my 2 first boys, and I'm doing this on the second day, and the office is right next door to her preschool. So that's mad. So now it's giving me time on the weekends to do stuff with them, because I've got great people like that work there. That's the backbone of the business that allows you to not have to do 18 hours a day or 16 hours a day and go from work to the computer. You've got someone doing the computer while you're out there. So that's what frees it up. Other than that, there's nothing else. If that wasn't there, well, I'm still doing what I was doing before.
And I remember very vividly you saying something to me at Lulu's Cafe in Kincumber back when you were going to buy that property, and you said something to me that it kind of like it shifted my mindset a little bit, and I'll give you the story behind it. You said, I can't remember exactly, but you said something about you've given me the confidence to make the decision.
Yeah.
Confidence is stuck in my head. And then I had this battle for myself the last couple of years of like, why can I help some people like the Justins and the Jakes, but I can't help any other people? And I kind of cracked the Da Vinci Code after you told me, actually, because Jake couldn't do it. You told me, you were like, Ryan, what you do with me and Jake and guys like us is we already know how to pull the trigger. We already know how to get shit done. We're already aggressive as hell. We know how to take action. It's built into us, and we love running at stuff. you just show us where to point it and give us confidence to shoot the bullets.
And
right?
we shoot it.
And you kept shooting. Like within 6 months, you were shooting bullets everywhere. I think I got hit in the leg twice, right? And fell over, and now we're sparring each other. But the irony is, it takes two parts of a person to succeed: a big vision and a big strategy, and an understanding of that called clarity, right? And the other bit, which is know how to pull the trigger and take massive action.
Yeah, which has always been there.
Yes.
But you just, like I said, you just got to point in the right direction, and that's what it did, and it's been brilliant. Like I said, I enjoy doing this with you. It's mad. I like getting up and doing the 5 o'clock meetings or whatever, and all that sort of stuff. It's good, and seeing where and sometimes we might go in there and that might not even open zero or look at where the business is going. It's more about other things, like things that can get you there and how you feel, and it's like a bit of a soundboard for one another. It's unreal. I love it, so I'm enjoying it.
And the good thing about us as well is that it has become a mateship. It's become you and me training together. It's been us sharing a lot of commonality. We were very aligned people, very, very sort of similar in our thinking and what we want for our families and what we want for each other. To a point that we, I'm hassling the shit out of you to move towards realms where we're doing cool stuff together as well. Because I've got properties and you'll be developing them and blah blah blah. So we're going on an awesome journey together. I just think right now your business is blowing up. Undoubtedly, it's blowing up big time. You're having every single person wanting you to build their home.
Yep.
You've got people coming from Sydney. You've got people coming from all around New South Wales. You've got me annoying you to build my homes. You're building beautiful homes right now that you just sold. You're building monstrous houses right now that are like capstone projects for the Central Coast.
Yeah.
It happened very quick.
Yeah, it did. Look, even when COVID hit, I started that development right up there. So this is obviously one that just sold, and that one right up there at Hilltop where you can see from here, that was where we actually had an interview there for a magazine that's going to go in the autumn edition soon, and that was tough. That wasn't easy. That's when COVID kicked in. So there's a good old story behind that one. Me and my wife went up to Queensland to see my best mate, Romeo, who was crook at the time, and made our way back, and we drove up there and we drove back, and we just bought this and ready to develop it, and then all of a sudden COVID kicked in, and we pulled in a Port Macquarie hotel, and everyone's leaving, and we've decided to get a room there and stay. And then we realised what was happening, and I'm laying in bed going, shit, we've just bought this house. What's going to happen? Do we rent it out? Do I try and still develop it and try and sell it? Who's going to buy it? I didn't even know what COVID was. Who's going to buy it? And then all this shit starts running through your head. And we stayed there for I think 2 nights, and then left and drove back, and I didn't know what to do. I actually didn't know what to do, and we lost. So 3 or 4 jobs that were going to start got pulled. The pin they pulled the pin. Only because at that start no one knew, so all the uncertainty, everyone just went like that. So we lost 4 jobs, and then I didn't know whether to put the money into this or not. And then I just wake up one morning and said, you know what, fuck it. I said, I'm going to do it, and I'm going to come out the back end of whatever happens with this COVID, because I know nothing about it. I'm going to come out the back end with a finished product, and I'm going to sell it. And that's just what I said to myself. And I said, that's it. So we just went for it and did it. Mate, I ran out of money on that house. Still made it happen, and like the money to put into that home, and we'll come close to it anyway. And then we just kept pushing through and got it done. And then all of a sudden, people are ringing, and we had lost so much work. And then all of a sudden, people are ringing up for when they started getting the grants in, and then people are realising that we're staying here, and then people started spending money, and the whole thing just blew out of control. And then we ended up selling that house, and 7 months later, and we. In the middle of COVID, I think it was roughly, obviously, and then we broke the street record by, I don't know, $500,000 or something. I think it was, and so it was good. Like, and you think, well, that was during a crisis, and it did happen. And you just put your mind to it, you just get it done. But it was a worry. And then after that home, it was like after that one, it started to really sort of open up. Well, it's a beautiful home. It is good, and the transformation was nuts. But then after that one, it's just sort of just ramped up, and I put myself around some good people who are good to me and I'm good to them, good connections and people you want to work with, and then you help them out, they help you out, and it's more about relationships, and then the influx of the work, and then all of a sudden you're doing these jobs here that were good, and then next minute you're doing these jobs here, and we've got we just started obviously our biggest development in Magee, and it's huge, and that thing's gonna break some insane records, I'm pretty sure, and it's gonna be a beautiful home, and a magazine already wants to do that one when it's finished, and then we're building a great personal dollar stuff with Matt Steinward, my agent. We're going to do his home, and that's an absolutely beautiful home. And we've got a big one on the water at Point Free, and then we've just all of a sudden moved in this category of these homes where it's where I've wanted to go, and then we'll just stay there and try and just stay in that lane and do those homes and do those developments and just try and stay up here because I want to push the boundaries of these homes. Really, now that's what I want to do. Just I want people to go past and know that we built them or developed them, and that's it now. So it just and that's all happened in the last 12 months. It's really sort of scaled out massively. But we've finished some good ones now. We've got good clients, and I'm all about having good relationships with the clients after. It's more important. I won't piss in their pocket at the start. I'd rather not do it. You're pretty much telling me how it is at the start, and if they stick around, well, they're worth it. If they don't, well, they can get someone else to do it, really. So it's more about that, and it just like you said, in the last 12 months. And then obviously meeting you as well during that whole period, it was like it all worked out the way it should have. Because it kicked off, and then you're like, well, what do I do? I couldn't have handled it. I don't know how I was, doing it at the start when I wasn't obviously doing as much for the family, and then meet you, and then all the things come into place, and then it just it works out well, and then you can start to handle the influx of the work and head in the direction that you want to head in.
So I'm going to give you my point of view, of that story.
No.
You go back to COVID, you lose the 4 jobs, you got everything to have you against the ropes, excuse the pun, right? You're sitting there, you still have the tenacity internally to go, fuck 'em, I'm sweet, I'm all good. We're going to make this money. Like, we're going to make this money on this house.
We're going to pay a little bit of overs for that house too, just quietly. Yeah. I was actually thinking of just renting it out.
And I know the story, and I hope you're okay with me saying it. It wasn't easy for you to get that house done.
No.
Because I know it wasn't.
No.
But you still had people saying how hard it was, and you got the house done.
Yeah.
You got your jobs laid off. You didn't have the security. You had everything saying pretty much fold, dude. Like, just give up because the economy is not there. And I know because every single client was whinging down my throat saying, we're going to lose all our money. And I was like...
you weren't with me then, so I don't even know.
No, you didn't have me. I wasn't there.
Probably would have been easier, but
And then you did that, you're still stuck to your game, you're still stuck to conviction, you're still stuck to what you believed in when nothing supported you. There was no supporting. No. And so if we talk about the you versus you mentality, that's what you did. You delivered you. Like, you fought you went a bit insane as usual, but you have to have insanity to lose your mind to back your purpose, which we talk about a lot. You doubled down on it, and everything happened after that is everyone wanted you because your conviction was way stronger. Your belief in yourself and your product and your building capability and your passion was so much stronger. The big contacts on the coast kept wanting you. The clients kept wanting you. I know stories that you've told me that you had no intention to even do a job for someone potentially next door. And you tell them you don't have the capacity, and they say, we want you to do it. Because they believe, you truly believe that there is nothing, no stone that will literally get unturned. Is it unturned? Whatever it is, turned upside down for your job, for your building. And there's a reason, there is a reason that you got to acknowledge that there's a reason that a lot of clients are taking you and are wanting you and are wanting your business and are wanting to work for you and not other builders. Period. There's a reason. And this big reason, I believe, is you back yourself, man.
100% I'll back myself no matter what. But at the same time, the team, the boys that work with us, second to none. So good blokes, unbelievable workers, honest, loyal. So it goes, I'll always back them and I'll always back them, and you get a return, and they just give a great product. I know what they're going to deliver, and I'll just keep going out and getting the work and make sure that we do it. So there's a lot to it, but I'll 100% push it and back it, because if you don't, if you don't believe in it, what's going to happen? You're not going to go anywhere.
Well, I think you do believe in yourself. I think you did back then, and you believed in your building capabilities, right? I think you are so passionate about helping other people to build their dream home, even when sometimes, I hope you don't mind me saying this, I'm telling you to develop your own property because you're such a good builder. You're like, I love why I do what I do, right? And I'm like, yeah, I know, but you got to. No, I love helping people. Like that's a big passion for you. It's not just you believing in you and your product. You believe in your team big time.
Oh,
like, I know Dane, right? I've seen you speak to you guys. I see you, even though you can be a very passionate hothead on how you want to help the client get a quick result and their dream home built, you will still get the best out of all your staff, like you get the best out of all your clients. Yeah. And all the people that hang around.
It's respect for one another too, you know. Like I'm still listening to them. They're still listening to me. It goes around a good circle. So we've got good banter, good respect for one another. Everyone's happy to go to work, and I think that's the big key to things. If people can be happy going to work, I've gone to work shit people, I've gone to work with good people, I know where everyone will be. So that's been a big part of it. So, and no one's left yet since it started, not one person. So hopefully that stays that way. But everyone moves on their own paths, but it's just a good place. I think it's a good place to work. You know, and I want people to tell me when it's not. I always ask them. You can ask them. I'll say, you know, are you happy? Are you happy at the moment? So that's important.
I've considered coming across a few times. if I didn't have my own business, mate, I'd find a way in there. I've told you I want some sort of role in there,
100%,
right?
Yeah.
Why do you do what you do? We spend some time, right? Me getting inside your emotional side of your head, right? Because that's what blokes and females, they're not meant to do. They can't do. You can't kind of interpret the limbic part of your brain, right? Which we know. But we cracked it. I kind of cracked it with you. You don't just build dream homes. That's what you do. Why do you do this?
Why I do it now is I just want people to be proud of the home that they live in, you know, and I think I said it before, we've got a good old saying, building like you're building your own. And that's it, mate. I want people to be happy in there after. I like seeing them after it. I call in there and I see them. I was there yesterday and having a coffee with them. I like that, you know, and he said some good things to me, you know, he's proud to be in there. That's it. It's just I like driving past the homes that you've done, get a bit of buzz maybe later on down the line when you know, like these ones at McGee that are going to be a couple of showstoppers, and then Matt's ones and developments that I know we're going to do even after McGee that'll be great. Showing your kids that that's what we did, and it's more about just driving past. That's probably the buzz that you get again, seeing it and knowing that you did get it done, and seeing that people enjoy being in that home. Like just that's good, you know. I'm all about relationships after it. I know I've heard some horror stories with with builders and clients, and I don't want to do that. That's why I'd rather squash it at the start and not do it. But even, especially on my developments, like ones that you start from start to finish, so like the land acquisition and then the design, and then got a great design team with FBC Design. Like, they're unbelievable. I had a meeting with them today, and then you go and you work with the structural engineers, you work with the consultants, and you try and get everything the way it should work, and then all of a sudden you know exactly what the house is going to look like before you even do anything. And then once that's envisioned, it's planning in your head, you want to make sure you build that home exactly the same as what you put in your head at the start. I went 350k over budget on that one, and that's mine. That's our build. But once I start, I can't stop. Not knowing that I probably would have got that sale, we actually didn't think we would get it. And then all of a sudden, when you've got a vision in your head, you want to do it. I've got to do the way that I wanted to do it from the start. And then sometimes you might put too much into it, you might get it back. But it worked out and it sold for more than what we expected. But yeah, when you have it there and then you see them in there and they're happy, that's it. That's good. That's all you want. That's the way it is.
I think your vision is massive for the house. I think your vision is massive for your developments. I think your vision is massive with how you want to help your team and what you want to build. And I think it's far, far greater than the money, right? With you, it really is. Because let's call it what it is, right? I've told you how many times you will make more money doing big developments for yourself, but the reality is you love what you do.
Yeah, you don't have a passion for something, there's no point in doing it. So at the end of the day, it's not like you don't come from money, so it's not about that. It's I like doing it, mate. That's it. I just want to push the boundaries on these things. I want people to 20 years drive past and know that was developed by us. That's what I want. Yep, that's his home. He did that one. There's a model that I like that someone does. I won't mention it, but there's a model in somewhere else that someone does, and I sort of want to bring it here. And the market's here now for it. It never used to be, and now they're selling homes on the Sunshine Coast for $7, $8, $9 million bucks. So it's here now. It wasn't here 5 years ago, so it's the right time for it. And I just want to push the boundaries on those homes, and no one's really doing it in that way, and just be known for those real luxury boutique developments. That's what I want to do, and be proud of them, be proud of being in there, and you be proud of doing it, and seeing it 10 years down the track and she's still there, and people know that you did it. That's it, and the rest of it sort of just come.
And so, like I said, there's only a few. Like I love my business. I love my clients. I love all my network and the guys I work with. The thing that ticks my box is when you have guys with big hearts getting out there, taking massive action, doing things for other people, right?
Yep.
So it's not about greed and just wealth accumulation for them and their family. Rather, they're simultaneously making other people fulfilled through creating dream homes for people that they get to have those memories with their families forever, right? And I respect that big time for you. I respect why your business is here. I respect you as a person and as a mate now. And I just can't wait to do another podcast in 11 months and see where you're at there because...
We'll do a Chrissy podcast.
Yeah, it'll be a Chrissy podcast and you'll probably be... I'm scared to know where you'll be, but you've got a massive vision, you've got a massive reason for being in business, and you and your team are doing the work.
That's good, mate, and we appreciate all your help that you've done for us.
Always.
Enjoying it massively, mate, so we'll see what happens.
And on the first week of April, we'll be punching on, so make sure you get behind Strategic and JSH. We'll be throwing some knuckles and showing how to be comfortable being uncomfortable. Yeah. Awesome, brother.
So there we go. See you, mate.
Cheers, legend.